From KPIX, CBS News Bay Area, street vendors in San Francisco fear proposed bans.
An escalation, meantime, in San Francisco over the crackdown against illegal street vending. Mayor London Breed last year announced a temporary ban on all street vending in the Mission District.
Oh yeah, a temporary ban. So we're going to enforce the law for a couple of weeks.
Area. That ban is still in effect, but new video from the SFPD shows the department is expanding its mission against illegal vendors into UN Plaza. San Francisco police say nighttime operations in that area started last month. That is after they reported improving conditions along Mission Street.
Wait, so what you're telling me is that in San Francisco, they might start enforcing the law? Is that what's happening? And the illegal street rats selling stolen goods on the sidewalk are worried that they might have to stop because they're never going to see the inside of a jail cell, but they might get shooed away. Maybe their merchandise will get taken by the cops, but probably not. And they'll just say, hey, you got to stop it, go home. Is that what they're worried about?
And all of this coming as the issue is now square in the minds of voters and in the platforms of the candidates for mayor. A proposal from Mark Farrell to crack down on illegal street vending citywide raised some eyebrows and some concern amongst vendors who say they're just trying to get by.
Look, here's the thing. It's over. They've already capitulated to the criminal element. There's only a handful of weirdo tech billionaires, some junkies. They've literally driven out the middle class. It's all completely over. So while you're trying to pander to the criminal element, they're not going to pay any taxes, but it's already gotten so bad that everybody is left and there's nothing else.
Martinez spoke with them.
It's been one thing after another for street vendors like Gustavo Tajin since a temporary street vending ban was put in place in Mission Street last year, then extended. Like many others, he operates without a street vending permit due to the steep cost of $454.
Oh, the vending permit costs a bunch of money, so he's not going to do it. So, and look, they're going to pick the most stand-up guy who's doing it illegally, because you can walk up and down Mission Street and I promise you, you won't see tables and fresh fruit and completely unlicensed food vendors. You'll see junkies selling things they stole from the last remaining Walgreens, but they're going to pick the best thing they can find and tell you, well, how come you don't want him to sell anymore? Even though you wouldn't allow a restaurant to sell anything without 16 permits. They can't even use plastic gift cards.
We've been working here for years without having issues until now.
He says he's been working out here for 5 years since he started having health issues and hasn't been able to secure a job.
I started this.
Yeah, I'm sure he's sitting in his apartment working on his resume, trying to secure a job. What are you talking about?
Business with my wife, and thank God we've done well enough to survive.
But now he's feeling anxiety about San Francisco mayoral candidate Mark Farrell's sweeping public safety plan. It includes expanding illegal street vending bans citywide, with targeted enforcement in areas like the Tenderloin Civic Center and UN Plaza, where SFPD was out doing enforcement just...
Yeah, you see this? Okay, here's a little bit more. But they show the stolen goods for like half a second and then highlight this guy who's probably importing fruit from the homeland or something, right? Because that's the picture. They just want to come here and have a better life. It's not like they're, stealing everything off the shelves of CVS.
This week, they send us this...
And they're not. It's quite clearly much more than a migrant problem in San Francisco, right? There's junkies. The word is out on the car break-in, so maybe they're not doing that as much. And the word is out that Walgreens is closing too, so perhaps they're not doing that as much, and that's why it's spreading to other cities.
This video.
All right, so it is illegal in the city of San Francisco to be vending without a permit. Were you aware of that?
We asked Mr. Farrell about how his crackdown would impact vendors like Gustavo, who fall into a bit of a gray area. He says his priority is public safety, but he's also committed to finding solutions that balance the needs of honest vendors, like helping them apply for permits.
Let's work with the ones that have permits. Let's make sure that the ones that are actually doing it the right way, ones that are actually contributing to vibrancy of our neighborhoods, let's work with them to make their experience and the shopper's experience better. But
yeah, you can say that all you want. It sounds really good, but do you think that the radicals in the Mission District and in the Castro are going to vote for you just based on how you look? So clearly, he is not the most articulate. There is, negative swag levels, so that's not going to work. What he's saying does make sense, but you can't do it. They've gone so far. You need to get a proxy, bro. You need to get like a big booty Latina to proxy your talking points in the Mission District, because nobody's going to buy that. They're too far gone. They're completely brainwashed. They have no idea what's going on. So you can sort of be like the tough dad and do what's right for them, even though they don't realize it, but it's not going to get through.
let's be very clear that illegal vending will no longer be part of the landscape of our streets in San Francisco.
But right now, even Mission vendors with permits, like Ramiro Lopez, are concerned about the potential impact of increased enforcement measures.
That's one of the things.
And of course, there is another problem with the permits, because they wrap everything. There obviously needs to be some regulation, and somebody needs to be the adult in the room. But they've already gone so far that the red tape is through the roof, and you can't tell what makes sense and what doesn't anymore, because the waters have been so muddied, right? So you could just apply for a permit and sell the product, but now it's like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's crazy. And you can go to California Insider and look at, restaurateurs and all sorts of business owners in the Bay Area that will tell you it doesn't make sense. It's the same thing with the parking signs, right? Like, oh, no parking Tuesday and Wednesday of the second and fourth week from here to there, but between 3 a.m. and 4 p.m. it doesn't make sense. And they make it confusing on purpose so people screw up and pay even more money in fines, while the real criminals go completely, they roam completely wild.
Worries about it is because they started in here on Mission, and then they want to extend it to different neighborhoods. And who knows? Maybe next time, maybe next year, maybe in the future, it's going to be. They want to do it in the whole city. So we don't want to lose part of the roots, our roots as Hispanic, Latino, being a street vendor.
For now, Gustavo tells me he's hoping for clarity and a path forward that allows him to continue his business without fear of repercussions.
Yeah, well, maybe just do it legally, right? And look, you want to live in San Francisco, and they created all the weirdo sanctuary city laws, but that comes with all of the weirdo, overbearing government, heavy-handed regulations. So you can't have it both ways.
We're all concerned, but we will keep fighting for my rights to keep selling here.
So Mayor London Breed.
Why does he think he has a right to sell there? Right? Oh, I'm going to keep fighting for my right. You don't have a right. People pay thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent to set up a restaurant that the city is going to tell them they're serving, or they're giving away the wrong type of straw, using the wrong type of gift card. There's no way on planet Earth that man has a right to sell food on 16th Street in Mission. And there's all sorts of other vendors. I was walking through the Mission District, and I'm 99% sure I saw a fake ID, green card, Visa, whatever operation operating outside of the van. Do you think the feds are going to come and stop them? Right? It's all a complete mess. So yeah, you can take down the illegal street vendors. That's good. Kind of like in New York, put the National Guard in the subway system. It's I guess a step in the right direction, but you guys have let everything collapse, and I personally am not going to let you live that one down.
Its campaign responded to Farrell's proposal, saying in part his proposal will hurt permitted immigrant vendors that are just trying to make a living. The reality is that...
Wait, I'm sorry. And as far as the National Guard in the subway, it just, right? It makes sense, but it doesn't. So it's a double-edged sword. So on one hand, there was no other option than, of course, to become a completely militarized police state. But on the other hand, why are you searching the bags of regular commuters while there's illegals running rampant all over the street, and what you're doing still didn't even work, as we saw, a couple days ago with the shooting in the subway. But that aside, let's go back just a couple seconds and see what Mayor London Breed has to say.
That are just trying to make a living. The reality is that addressing street vending is a complex issue that requires state legislation so police can once again make arrests for street vending of stolen goods. Mayoral candidate Daniel Lurie says he would only allow permitted street vendors in locations where they wouldn't be competing with struggling small businesses or after major events. And
you stomped on all the small businesses. You guys did all this. You're responsible for all of it, right? So all of the chaos, all of the mayhem, all of the weirdo double-edged sword, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, heavy-handed, overarching government, bureaucracy, overreach, octopus tentacles, all of that stuff. They did it on purpose.